And so here's what the summit kind of left me with. This reflection didn't just show me what I'm feeling, it showed me what I'm responsible for. If the practice relies too much on me, the solution isn't to work harder. Reflection is a leadership responsibility. If you don't take time to reflect internally, we'll drift externally. If everything depends on us, we don't have a business. We have a job with probably some extra paperwork. And then community trust grows through people being known, not just through competence, but through presence. And if you weren't, maybe this is your nudge to stop long enough and listen, because God is speaking to us. We might be too busy managing tasks to hear him. Often I am. Hello and welcome to the Chris Wolfe Podcast on iCode Media. Last week, I went to the Citywide Summit put on by an organization called Within Reach. And I had Jed Mullenix on the podcast about 2 years ago, and we talked about what Within Reach was really about. A collaborative network of leaders in the community, business, and the church who share a commitment specifically in Omaha to city reaching and renewal. And I wanted to share a specific moment, really kind of what I gained from this summit that I went to last week, and kind of what I reflected on, and hopefully it will be helpful to you. And so that's what I'm going to do the monologue on today. As always, be sure to subscribe to the podcast, write a review, share it with your friends, and support those who support us. The most common questions I get include, what ophthalmological codes or evaluation and management codes should I use? What ICD-10 codes do I need to bill with this CPT code? What CPT codes can be billed together and what can't? And my favorite, how do I manage a patient who has diabetes who comes in for a quote-unquote routine eye exam? These questions really highlight the confusion and uncertainty that serves as a daunting hurdle for providers, makes it more challenging for them to care for their patients and provide those patients with the best opportunity for a lifetime of ocular health and clear vision. That's why we built iCode Education, for this specific purpose. Our mission is to provide optometrists with resources to help you understand disease states, revenue cycles, and billing and coding so that you can put that on autopilot and truly care for your patients. Check out iCodeEducation.com, that's EYECODE education.com. We've developed a premier billing and coding bundle that includes all of our billing and coding resources in one place. We also have a 10% discount code just for listeners of this podcast. Enter the coupon code EYECODEMEDIA22 at checkout. We'd love to work with you. Check out iCodeEducation.com. The Life Meter has changed the way optometrists talk about nutrition to their patients. Instead of telling patients they should take something, they can show them their carotenoid score in real time. It's objective, it's quick, and it allows them to track progress over time. And patients love seeing that improvement. And it turns prevention into something measurable. So check out the Life Meter for your practice. So this reflection, this moment from the day wasn't just inspiring, but it was really clarifying and uncomfortably clarifying. And so we were sitting in the sanctuary at Lifegate Church, which is a non-denominational church. I'm hoping I'm describing this well. And you know, I don't have a lot of experience in those types of church. It's got an auditorium feel. This isn't judgment, by the way. It's just the way it was, and it's not familiar to me. It's kind of foreign. And there's obviously a lot of people around, and both of my associate doctors were sitting next to me. In fact, I was sitting right between the two of them. And Rich Velotis, who was the keynote speaker, had been talking about something that hits a nerve for leaders. I think it should anyway. And really, it's how easy it is to become a task manager instead of being a human being. And many leaders, in my experience, work hard. We work hard on our teams. We manage the day, and we never slow down long enough to reflect internally. And in F3, if you've heard me talk about F3, we might call that being a sad clown, moving from one thing to the next, outwardly productive, but inwardly we just leave ourselves unexamined. And Rich basically said sometimes the clearest place that God speaks isn't out there in the chaos. It's not me doing the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. While there's value to that, and I am a huge testament and proponent of that value, it's in here, inside, in the quiet, that we often will just keep avoiding, and that can be a problem. And so the exercise he gave us was to really reflect on 4 prompts. He said, think about something you're mad about, something you're sad about, and something you're anxious about, and then also something you're grateful for. And he told people to write it down or type it into their phone, and I didn't. It's kind of something that's a little bit unnatural to me to sort of, write. Well, one, I just didn't have anything to write with. And honestly, it's unnatural to me as a Catholic to pull out my phone in a sanctuary. It just sort of feels weird. Again, I'm not judging anybody. It just felt weird to me. So I just sat with it. I sat with God around me and my thoughts. And so Rich listed those 4 prompts in a certain order, but I took them in my order. The way it sort of, God spoke to me was gratitude or gratefulness, anxiety, anxiousness, anger or mad, and then sad. So if I'm being honest, I don't spend a lot of time being mad at this stage in life. I mean, certainly there are things I can be mad about, and there isn't really a lot I sit in sadness day to day, thanks be to God. So the 2 that surfaced the quickest for me were gratitude and anxiety. It may be my nature, or it may just be what God was highlighting on that day. So I'll sit and reflect with some of this with you, and maybe it'll hit home as well. I'm grateful because my practice has provided stability for our patients, for our community, and for my family. The office building, it's set. It's another anchor now. And Practice Performance Partners is a stable and thriving business, and I'm really grateful for that. And listen, grateful for stability doesn't mean that everything is perfect or insulated. It just means it's reliable. It shows up day after day, and it provides. And that practical fruit of that really is simple for me. It's that I can come home, I can cook dinner with my family, I can be present. Yes, I still do some things after hours, but the reality is it's not that I have to do them in order to just make it to the next day. These are things I enjoy doing. And so we built systems so that I'm not spending hours at nighttime finishing up work from my clinic day. And I don't take that for granted. I see other doctors who are really good people, really good docs, but they're drowning in after hours work because they never got the systems built. Their workday doesn't end. It just changes locations after the kids go to bed. So yes, I'm grateful for that. I'm deeply grateful for that. But then anxiety. So we've added a relatively new doctor. We brought him on board. He's a great guy. He's a really good doctor. And I'm anxious because I can't grow him as fast as I want to. And I don't mean grow him like he needs to become more competent. He's really competent. He's a really good doc. I mean really 2 things. One is patient volume. I want him to get busy faster. His momentum matters. I also think that the second thing is that leadership and ownership mindset. I want him to put roots down in our community. Yes, he's from Omaha. His wife is from Omaha, but how do I help him establish deep roots? And the hard truth is that people can't rely on you if they don't know you. And he's reliable. He's excellent. But the community doesn't know him yet. And they don't know that yet because they don't know him yet. And so I've tried to communicate this, and I'll tell you it's not perfectly. And I think this is part of the reflection, right? So I've said things like, you need to be present at business meetings. You need to start making relationships. You need to send thank you cards. You need to ask for referrals. You need to consider taking more call. And I've encouraged him to engage more in communities he already is in, like F3, not because it has to be F3. It could be something totally different, but because men need places where deep friendships and real relationships happen outside of our normal circles. But the more I sat with it, the more I realized something. I've been giving him tactics when what I really want to communicate is identity. You're not just, quote, another doctor. You're not just a guy who shows up from 7:30 to 4:30. Our community needs you, your character, your presence, your reliability in every interaction, clinical and personal. And if I haven't articulated that well, it's not serving him, and it's a me problem. And that's really where I'm kind of sitting right now. Now, as far as mad, I said earlier, there isn't much I feel mad about, but something did surface, and I think it's probably worth talking about it. And it pertains to the thing I'm anxious about. And it's as great as our practice is, and it is great, as many patients as we have, and we haven't created something that grows exponentially. It's growing, it provides, it's stable, but it's not growing at the rate where it feels like people must choose our office in our community. And maybe that's a poor expectation. Maybe it's my ego disguised as vision. I'm open to that. It's totally likely. But what frustrates me, what makes me a little angry, is I haven't built something that's so contagious that it grows despite me. And the clearest reason is it's the hardest one to admit. The practice still relies too heavily on me personally. Community visibility is mostly me. And that's my problem, because we've got great people in the practice. The team makes it run once patients are there, but the community story still is, that's Chris's place. Now, we've got another associate who's awesome, and I'm seeing her start to build those relationships in the community. I'm seeing this kind of influx in what her identity has become. And I'm even really encouraged. So I gotta take a sidestep and really give her praises, because I've seen, and I've told her this, I've seen this kind of diving into the practice that hasn't been there before. This sort of ownership of the practice, kind of the identity as taking ownership in the success of the practice. And so it's pretty cool to see her doing that as well. And so the Clarity One Day is a versatile silicone hydrogel lens that is daily, that it fits well across a wide range of patients. In my practice, we appreciate how predictable the fit is and how comfortable patients find it. Because the Clarity family includes sphere, toric, and multifocal options, patients can stay in the same platform as their vision changes and those visual needs adjust. And that consistency makes follow-up care much easier for my patients. If you're ready to stop feeling overwhelmed and start running a safer, more profitable practice, here's the next step. First, book a strategy call with us, Practice Performance Partners. We'll uncover the biggest risks and opportunities in your practice. Then, choose the package that fits your goals. From there, we'll get you launched with confidence, with clear systems, with expert support, and with peace of mind, knowing your practice is protected and set up to grow. Don't wait until something goes wrong. Book your strategy call with us, Practice Performance Partners, today. I have to say that, when I think about being mad that we haven't done that, I see these things in sparks, where other people are sort of taking it upon themselves, which is really great. And it's such a blessing. But I don't just want us to be seen as another business. I want us to be seen as a small business committed to our community, where everyone in our business is an extension of that vision. And it's seen as importantly as I'm seen. And I think that's what's so exciting about my first associate, is that I'm seeing some of that, which is really cool. I want the community to continue to say they take great care of you. All the doctors are amazing. They listen. They want what's best for you. It's not just because of Chris. It's not just because of him, because it isn't just me, and it shouldn't be. And the fact that it feels like that in some cases is a me problem. And I've got to figure that out. So that's one of the things I reflected on. And then sadness. I'm sad about the fact that my relationship with my brother hasn't been what I'd like it to be, but I'm not really sure how to move forward with that better. And that's a whole other story, not for this podcast, but I mention it because it mattered and it surfaced in this exercise. Sometimes the stuff we avoid isn't loud, it's quiet, and it sits there until someone gives us permission to stop long enough to notice it. And so here's what the summit kind of left me with. This reflection didn't just show me what I'm feeling, it showed me what I'm responsible for. If the practice relies too much on me, the solution isn't to work harder. The solution is to develop leaders around me and to build community within them. so that the community trusts in them as the team, not just me as the owner. If I'm anxious about growing a doctor, the answer isn't just more tactics. It's clearer vision. It's better articulation. It's more intentional mentorship. And, honestly, Ted McElroy and I have had some of these conversations. He is probably going to be putting out an episode relatively shortly, or actually a series of episodes that are related to this, but I've been intentionally trying this, this humility and this sort of mentorship of our people in who they are and not what they do. So some of this is me just realizing I haven't communicated as well as I thought. Also, there's a very high chance that my ego likes to be the guy. And I'm sharing it publicly because I know that I'm not the only leader who struggles with this. And so, there's some takeaways, I think. If you're listening and you're leading anything, your business, your team, your family, a ministry, there's probably 3 takeaways I'm walking away with. Reflection is a leadership responsibility. If you don't take time to reflect internally, we'll drift externally. If everything depends on us, we don't have a business. We have a job with probably some extra paperwork. And then community trust grows through people being known, not just through competence, but through presence. And so I'm grateful for the stability God's given me. And I'm also honest that there are places I still want to grow, especially in building something that blesses the community through the whole team and not just through me being the guy. So that's my summit debrief. If you were there, some of you may be in Omaha, and you were there, I'd love to hear what hit you. And if you weren't, maybe this is your nudge to stop long enough and listen, because God is speaking to us. We might be too busy managing tasks to hear him. Often I am. So I hope this helps. It was definitely helpful for me to kind of go through that process, and maybe you can go through it yourselves. Have a great week. Talk to you soon.